Speaking on behalf of the senior class today is Julie Limaseth. Julie is from Cincinnati, Ohio, and she is a cobber for all seasons if there ever was one. Her participation in the college community has involved singing in 2 of our choirs, participating in Concordia Theater. She was manager of the job shop and a member of the speech team, and most recently earned first place honors in poetry reading at the National Tournament of Pi Kappa Delta, the Forensics Honorary. Julie has majored in psychology and communications and was elected to membership in Omicron Delta Kappa, our National Leadership Honorary. Julie recently accepted a position with the St. Paul Companies. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present, in behalf of the class of 1987, a cobber for all seasons, Julie Limaseth.
Thank you, President Devery, Mr. Dowd, administration, faculty, family, friends, and the 1987 alumni that are sitting here. If we were to go about and thank everyone that is causing all of this heat in this room for everything that they've contributed to us and helping us get through these 4 or 5 years that we've had here, it would be another Academy Awards. So I'd like to just say a blanket thank you to everyone that is here and all that they have done. And I'm sure you'll get a lot of personal thank yous afterwards. A lot of us are thinking not about just today and this service that's almost over, but tomorrow. As Guy Dowd said, what then? And for me, it's involved a lot of interviewing. Some of you have done interviewing for graduate school, interviewing for careers or summer employment. And the one question I kept asking myself is, how will this position use my education? Well, what I found is not that the position will use my education, but what this education has made of me. And we've all gotten a lot of education from this college that isn't measured by GPA. There are really 2 philosophies that we can look at when we look at education. And the first is education as a means to an end. The end would be today. The second would be education as a continual process. And I'd like to look at both of these a little bit with you today. First is education as a means to an end. And what this is that we went to college because of the doors that it could open. College provides credentials for us to go to graduate school or to find a career. And if we don't have these credentials, then basically whatever education we've had is useless. Seniors, what kind of salary do you really think that we could get from a Concordia education? And if you get a salary that's not equal to that amount, does that mean that the rest of the education we've received is worthless? Can you put a price on the 4 years that we've had here? I don't think so. And I don't think that this education is really ending, but it's just part of a process. And we're going on into the second philosophy of education. That is the process, the lifelong process of education that we're all part of. There's a story about a traveler in medieval times. He meets 3 stonecutters along a road and asks each of them what they are doing. Each has similar tools and similar stones. Well, the first answer is, I'm cutting stone. The second answer is, I'm shaping a cornerstone. But the third answer is, I'm building a cathedral. A cathedral. One way we can look at education. The first 2 are working because it's a job, because they get paid for it. The third is looking beyond that immediate task and that immediate reward and seeing how he is contributing to the process. We have built the foundation to that cathedral at Concordia, as we've heard all week long. But there's a lot more learning to do as we go out tomorrow with this college degree in hand to build the rest of that cathedral for us. Looking at education as a process means isolating these 4 years at Concordia and then looking beyond. How have we changed in these 4 years that we've been here? And what do we want to take from Concordia as we continue on in the process of learning? I've isolated 2 things that I hope that each of us can take beyond this day other than just our academics and our degree. The first thing is our liberal arts education. Some people think of liberal arts as learning a little of everything but not a lot about anything. It's the kind of education that you receive in order to win Trivial Pursuit. Well, we don't want you to take a trivial pursuit philosophy about liberal arts out of here. One way you can look at liberal arts is that it provides a cognitive schemata, a framework for looking at different things. It's kind of like a pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. Each piece has an individual identity on its own, but put together, they make a picture. We have the capacity to understand others' viewpoints. We've been trained in a variety of areas. Hence the core curriculum. We might have had philosophy, political science, mathematics, communications, religion. But each of these will remain individual philosophies and identities unless we put these together through our integration classes, through talking with our friends, and learning how all the pieces fit together. We are trained to see the social, economic, and physical aspects of everything that we have learned here. And we can put them all together and understand others from each of these different perspectives. Not only liberal arts, but there's also something else about this Concordia community that I want you to take outside of the boundaries here, and that is our friendliness that we have here. Now, a lot of us have made fun of the happy cobber over the last 4 years, and some people will refuse to say, "Hi, how are you?" because they know fine will be the answer, regardless of what's going on in their life. Well, there is something that is a benefit out of all of that, because it makes an impact on your life. When someone greets you by name, says, "Hello, how are you?" it really lets you know that you're worth something. What this is another nature versus nurture argument. Are we attracted to Concordia because of something within us that's friendly? Or is it just the environment, and we're going to go out of these boundaries and leave the friendliness here? I mean, you can't say hello to a stranger on the streets of New York City, can you? Well, perhaps you can, within reason. You can take some of Concordia with you, leave some of yourself behind, as Dean Gring said at the honors luncheon. And what this really means is we can take this friendliness outside of here. And if we do, we have the power to influence others exponentially by saying hello to two people, and they might in turn say hello to two people, and so on and so on. So what I would like you to take out of Concordia today, outside of this degree and the academics and the knowledge that you've learned, is this liberal arts education and perspectives, and also the friendliness that we've all discovered here. In conclusion, I'd just like to ask, does anyone out here have a Concordia ring on? If you do, there's one symbolic meaning of that ring that we haven't talked about at all today. That's part of the commencement ceremony, and that is the turning of the rings. When we're here at Concordia, the sea faces us, if you'll look at it. And one way you can look at that is the knowledge from Concordia is flowing into us. Well, part of the ceremony today involves turning those rings around so that the sea faces outward. Well, then the knowledge can flow out of you. If you look at college as a means to an end, then in 4 years, there'll be nothing left. Concordia education would be useless. But if you look at this education as a continual process, you will learn that things are coming in, new knowledge is coming in as knowledge is given out. And it will continue. Knowledge is not finite, and what we've learned here at Concordia will never end. This is not the end of education. And we've just finished a step along the process of our education here. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you, Julie. Following this commencement ceremony, I'm asked to invite Pastor Richard Larson to the North Office to receive a message. Following the benediction, the members of the audience are invited to be seated during the recessional.